What's going on YouTube? Sundeep M3 back again with another video. Hope you guys are enjoying the uploads, and as always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more videos. Today I got another one for you guys, and I'm coming up on the 1-year ownership of my G80 M3. I know a lot of you guys are either existing G80 owners or you're looking to get into these cars and probably watching my videos and other videos on YouTube, like what I did last year as well. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a breakdown of what I thought of the car in my past 1-year experience, and do I have any regrets, issues, things like that, what I would look out for, if anything I would change. So let's get into that. This is a 2021 G80 M3 rear-wheel drive for you guys that are new to the channel. It has 34,000 miles when I purchased it, and I'm at 39,000 miles almost a year later. So I did about 5,000, which again isn't too much for these cars, considering some people do daily drive them pretty far distances to work and so forth. But I mainly just use it for errands, hanging out with friends, and local activities and short drives. Nothing too crazy or long distance, so that's why the miles are so low. As I was saying, I picked this car up about 1 year ago, so I have a pretty good feel for it. And this isn't my first M3. I did previously have an F80 M3, and that was rear-wheel drive as well, so that was definitely a good comparison. If you're coming from an F80 to a G80, which a lot of people do as well, the F80, like any older generation M car, is going to be more raw in terms of handling the suspension, and especially with DCT. So going to this car, it's definitely way more comfortable, more compliable with speed bumps, things like that. Just a lot smoother, more refined of a car than what the F80 was. And since there's no DCT, the automatic ZF8 transmission shifts really smooth. And if you pair that with XHP or do any other transmission CS flash, you can have more aggressive shifts with that. I did like the F80, but I always like to get the new generation of something, and I was just itching for something else. So I decided to go with the G80 M3. Initially, I did have an X-Drive with carbon bucket seats when I first purchased it, but I ended up selling that one. If you go back to my first video, you'll see why. But this one is a rear-wheel drive one, and a lot of people are wondering, should you get the X-Drive or rear-wheel drive? If you can definitely afford it and find a good deal on an X-Drive, by all means try to shoot for that one, especially if you're daily driving it in the winter or other conditions as well. X-Drive would be your best bet. But I got the rear-wheel drive for a good price. Like I said in one of my videos, I did a whole breakdown. But the rear-wheel drive I really like, and it's grown on me. It's just a more fun factor car, kind of when it's a little cooler out and when you just take turns. Sometimes it does slip traction if you're on Pirellis, but I feel like that kind of adds to the driving dynamic and the characteristics. And as well as the rear-wheel drive, just kind of when you're picking up speed, I feel like it just has a little more of a like boost or something. It's hard to describe. Maybe the power to weight from the rear wheels instead of the front gives it that dynamic. But it's just a really good driving experience. I have no issues with that. And this car, I can put on winter tires or Continentals and ride it through all season. But I do have my wife's X4M that we can use in case of any inclement weather with the snow and so forth. So I'm not really concerned about this car being an all-arounder car for me. I can still drive it on days that there are no snow. Rain's pretty good as well. It's drizzling a little bit now. I don't know if you guys can see. But there's no issues with that, and I'm pretty satisfied with the rear-wheel drive purchase. Rear-wheel drives have also depreciated a good amount, especially the 2021, since this is the first generation. So if you're someone who's looking to jump from an F80 to a G80 and not spend too much more money than what they previously have in their car, then you can definitely get into one of these for not much more depending on your spec. But obviously the X-Drives will cost you a pretty penny. But the 2022 versions of those, the first years, are dropping as well. So if you kind of just keep an eye out, and as well as we're approaching the end of the year, so with that said, you can find good deals on that as well. If you're also looking to have a single performance sports car and not have to worry about having a second car or a daily driver that's something cheap or a beater, this car is definitely, I can say, an all-arounder. You can have 4 to 5 people fit comfortably in the car. It's just really good for the roads, dynamics, no issues with speed bumps, things like that. Definitely has a good amount of ground clearance and so forth. And if you do have the comfort sport seats, like I'll show you guys, they're really easy to get in and out. Right there. My bolster's pretty good, has minor creasing, a little bit from the previous owner, a little bit from myself. But obviously it's not like the carbon buckets where you have to jump it over. So going back to what I was saying, just having a good daily driving experience is really easy and fun with this car. You can take it year round if you have the proper tires or so forth, or X-Drive as well. The trunk space is also fairly decent. I'll show you guys real quick. Have a bunch of space. You can easily fit 2 large suitcases at this BMW cargo box. Some cubbies on the side. So again, if you need to have some space in the trunk, you can also fold down the rear seats. I've only done about 5,000 miles, like I was saying, over the past year, so I haven't really had to do too much maintenance on this car. When I first purchase it, I always like to do an oil change myself when it's a used car, because I can never trust the dealers or what oil they used or when they actually did it. So I purchased the FCP Oil Euro kit, which basically just covers all the oil and filter. So it's a DIY kit that you can do yourself, which I had someone do. So after that, I didn't have to do any other service really. I might have done the cabin air filter, but I don't think it was really needed. Tires have been good. I did have the Continentals, but I switched to the Pirellis, as you guys can see. It's a more meaty, thick sidewall look. So it just gives it more of an aggressive stance with the AST springs and the spacers. Since I'm approaching 40,000 miles, I did order the FCP oil kit again for the 5,000 interval, which I do. BMW recommends 10,000, I believe, or the iDrive system will update on your driving habits and might say sooner. But I'd rather just do it every 5,000 to be on the safe side, since it's for peace of mind. And at 40,000, I believe you need the spark plugs, so I ordered those as well. Apart from that, there's not really much maintenance on these cars up till 50,000 or more. I think at around 60, some people like to do the transmission fluid for the ZF8. Not sure if it's fully required or if I'll even have the car by then, but it's something to consider. All the mods I've done on this car have been pretty tasteful and easy. And if you guys go back a few videos, you can see what I've done and the breakdown. But as far as mods, they haven't caused any issues as well to the car, and everything's been pretty well. But as I said in a few videos back, I unfortunately did crack my lip right here. You guys can see this is the gloss black V-style from Amazon. Good fitment, but I hit a pothole kind of thing, and then it just cracked right there, and then I guess this just kind of broke off. But I ordered a new one, and I'll try to have that installed later this week or weekend, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. Just a brief overview to go my spec. So again, this is a 2021 G80 M3 rear-wheel drive, and making our way from the front, I do have the laser lights, which is a must and included on the executive package for 2021s. But if you have a 2022 or so forth, you have to option that because it's not included in the package no more. And these are the non-shadow ones, so you do kind of have this chrome look and it looks more clear. Initially, I always preferred the shadow one, but just looking at them and kind of looking at the badge and the front fascia, it definitely just spruces it up and just kind of gives it that look that stands out and just doesn't like look all blacked out. But either one you can't go wrong with. So making our way to the rest, we'll go into the interior and I'll show you guys. So again, these are the sport comfort seats, and I do have the executive package, the driver assist plus package, as well as the parking package. So that includes all 360 cam sensors, auto park, and the driving assist sensor, so you can basically drive it kind of like a Tesla where it maintains distance and does the turns as well. So with that, you do get the sensor. Some people hate it, some people love it. I didn't mind it too much in the beginning, and I think it's fine with the CSL style grille, so that's a good setup. And we do have the Kailami orange interior. I'll show you guys some more right there. So get all the door cards, and this is full leather, so you do have this kind of deviated stitching. I was never really a full leather person, and I didn't think it was worth the $2,500-ish or so. But after having it, it just makes the interior look a lot more premium on these cars. So it's definitely something I would look for in the future if I was able to get it again. And with that, we do have the carbon interior too. That's definitely a must in my opinion. as you guys can see right there. Apart from that, it's just pretty much basic stuff like the A26M wheels. I got spacers and ASD springs on that. And then, as you guys can see, I do have the black calipers. I definitely like having the black on this car. I feel like the red wouldn't really have matched with the interior, and the blue is just kind of random and doesn't really go with anything. So black is a nice look. I was debating if I should do kind of like a Kailami orange to match the interior and the reflector look, but I think black is fine, and rather have the OEM paint on the calipers and avoid any chipping and things like that. And if I were to change this car and do anything differently, the one thing I kind of do regret is not getting carbon bucket seats. I know this topic comes up every day on the forums and Facebook groups, and people are like, should I get it or not? Does it fit my body type? Is it easy to get in and out? So it's just a big controversial thing. But I did have them on my X-Drive with the Fiona Red, and I just like the whole dynamic, the aesthetic. From the back you could see the carbon from that. These, I don't really have that carbon. I just added this piece right there from AliExpress, so it gives it a little look. But yeah, the bucket seats definitely give it a more aggressive dynamic, and you just kind of feel the car more planted, and it just feels more aggressive driving through. So that kind of changes the whole car aesthetically and kind of the feel. So that's definitely something I regret. But also at the same time, I did get this car for a good price, and at that time buckets would have costed me a lot more, so it was not something I was kind of looking into. But right now I am on the hunt for any buckets that are in Kailami orange for G80 M3 only, as the M4 ones don't fit with the seatbelt harness thing. So if anyone has any leads on that, definitely let me know, and I would be interested in getting them. But apart from the buckets, I love everything else about the car. Rear wheel drive, like I was saying earlier, I'm totally okay with, and just everything else is just all the options I could have asked for and then some. Overall, I think the G80 M3 is the best car you can get for under 100,000, and it has all the dynamics such as performance, handling, power, daily drivability, maintains resale value, and you get the luxury and comfort and sportiness of a BMW. So in my opinion, that's the best car for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with that as well. As always, stay tuned for more videos. Sandeep M3 out.